divergent. We're not in agreement. But then you also get to tell us what you think, especially as we look forward to a 2027 general elections where campaigns have been sponsored underway for certain principal officials or officers who are hoping to vie for the big seats, the number one seat in the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Introducing us now, my name is Udwak Daniel.
And I am Omo Efepiso Semere. I mean, I am particularly excited, to have this conversation this morning with not just Udwak Daniel, but you on the other side of the radio, because I want to believe that this topic, is probably going to be of utmost concern, to almost, if not all Nigerians.
Everybody.
Right? Mm-hmm. Because we are yet to recover from the outcome of the 2023 general elections, whether we like it or not.
Yeah.
Family members, not only on this fora, we always have a way of referring back to the 2023 general elections. Would you really say that the conduct of the election was free and fair? But that is another kettle of fish, all right? And looking at the amount of monies, spent to conduct that 2023 general elections and the excuses, the technicalities that we were exposed to, especially by the electoral umpire, leaves us with a question as to whether or not we've been able to utilize funds, very judiciously in terms of conducting free and fair elections in Nigeria.
Right. Well, and that, of course, that takes us to the topic in discourse this morning, right? Is a very, very strategic topic. And, of course, it is the high cost of elections. It's more like a kicker now. The high cost of elections being the kicker. How Nigeria spent a whopping 981.5 billion naira on 7 polls in 24 years. All right, Omo, you tell us already.
All right.
Give us an intro, because I know that we agreed on some path, but at the tail end, we disagreed.
But I'm hoping that at the end of the show today, we'll be able to reach a point of departure.
Hopefully.
All right?
Hopefully.
Okay.
Hopefully.
So the topic of discussion revolves around the high cost of elections in Nigeria, specifically how the country spent you corrected me earlier, a whopping 981.5 billion naira on 7 general elections from 1999 to 2023. Now, this substantial expenditure has raised concerns, about the financial burden on the nation and the effectiveness of the electoral process.
Well, if you also look at it historically, though, Nigeria's electoral history has been marked by significant expenditures. Somebody once told me, your country loves to spend. You spend a lot. You have a headache, you spend massively. You have a little family issue, you spend massively. Your car is just coughing and it seems like you spend massively. That's how your country is.
But the only thing constant in life is change, because once upon a time, a general once said that we've got the money, but how to spend it is
that's
the problem.
Go on.
But now we now know how to spend money.
Now we spend money, and we're spending it right in front of our faces, right there unabated. I mean, with each election cycle witnessing a substantial increase in cost, that's how much we spend monies. Now, if you look at the 1999 elections now, which marks the beginning of Nigeria's fourth republic, that's right. It set the stage for the country's democratic journey, and here we are, 24 years since 1999 up until now. However, the costs associated with these elections have grown exponentially over the years.
Right. Now, you recall that in 1999, the outgoing military regime spent 32 billion naira on elections. Fast forward to 2023, the cost had skyrocketed to 355.298 billion naira. Now, this trend highlights the need for a closer examination of electoral, spending and its implications for Nigeria's democracy. And there are also projections that come 2027, we're going to be spending maybe twice this amount.
You never know.
To conduct the general
elections, especially when you take into consideration certain factors. I mean, some of which might include the fact that we're embracing technology now, the BVAS thingy and all of that. INEC is saying that, it's been showing some successes, that it did show success in 2023, even though that can be disputed, in some quarters. But then again, recent news has it that some Nigerians are advocating that without the voters card we should be able to use our ID cards and all. INEC is saying no. As much as that sounds nice, but no, the Electoral Act stipulates clearly that it has to be the voter's card. So I want to use this time out to also implore you, please go get your voter's card.
Registration is, ongoing.
Please,
right.
I beg you. Just as there is some impatience going on with politicians now, politicizing who their candidates would be,
endorsements going on already
here and there and all of that. It is with that impatience you should quickly
go get registered.
Yes, be impatient about that one, right? Yes, quote me. UD said it. Maybe FA wouldn't say, but UD said. So quotes that UD said we should be impatient about getting our PVCs.
Right. And it's not enough for you to just get registered. Collecting it is another issue, because the electoral umpire has over time lamented the low turnout, in terms of people coming to collect their PVCs. When you get registered, you get a temporary slip on the spot, but you need your original PVC, that's the card, to exercise your franchise come 2027. And it's very important. Now some people will say, the long queue that you get exposed to when you go there to get your PVC is somewhat discouraging. But come on, we cannot just complain, lament, cry on national radio and television that come 2027, it is the masses that will decide, and you are skeptical, you're reluctant, about going to collect your PVC. It makes no sense, for the lack of better word, honestly.
Right, it does make no sense, trust me. But then again, here we are. There are, these factors I mentioned. That the embrace of technology, right? There is also the place of corruption. Now, when I hear corruption, Almo, and I want you to also, think about, what I'm about to say. When I hear corruption, is corruption a human being? Corruption is no human being. The people are the corrupted. So when we say we are fighting corruption, no, corruption is not a human being. It is us. It is us. It's your mindset. It's who you are. It's who you are. So you can choose to be the corrupted one and choose to stand firm by principles, right?
And integrity.
And integrity being what you do, doing the right thing, even when you're not being seen. Yeah. Nobody's watching you or supervising you. Right. That's integrity, right? But then electoral malpractices and corruption have led to inflated costs. Inflated, meaning somebody is the one who is inflating it. Somebody is having an influence on it, right? Inflated cost and undermining the integrity of the electoral process. So we are still the people who destroy the process and the systems on ground and the structures, and then we come out again and say we are fighting corruption. There has also been logistical challenges, right? Where the country's vast geography and complex electoral process, contributes to increased costs. Very, very factual, right? There is also the technological, of course, investment. We've already put it out there, and you're already seeing it already. But then, bottom line, let's break down the summary of the monies we have spent since 1999 up until now, and then you tell me, you bring back that question that you posed, where we went divergent, right? And then let's banter on it and have that conversation out so the family member can also tell us what they think. And of course, should spending such monies not indeed give us the gains of an electoral process that is free and fair? Well, I'll leave it there.
Okay, here is a quick, breakdown of costs. Since 1999, up until the last general elections, of course, in 2023. In 1999, we've made to understand, according to reports, that 32 billion naira was actually spent. In 2003, 55.172 billion. In 2007, 74.2 billion. In 2011, 99.7 billion. In 2015, 122.9 billion naira. In 2019, 242.2 billion naira, and in 2023, 355.298 billion naira. So you see that there's been an increase over the years. Now, the Independent National Electoral Commission, that's INEC, has defended its budget over time, citing the need for adequate, funding to ensure credible elections. However, critics and observers are arguing that the high costs have not indeed translated to improved electoral outcomes in Nigeria.
Right.
So it's beginning to look as though the more monies we spend, to conduct these elections, the more election, petitions that we are left with at the end of the day. So one thing that comes to mind would be, because you said something, maybe you're trying to justify, these huge amounts of monies that we've spent over the years to conduct elections. You cited logistical, concerns. Okay, so corruption, right? Technological investment,
exactly,
and what have you. But in all of this, UD, let's take a look at the 2023 general elections, for example. I mean, where we spent 355 point something billion naira to conduct the election. How many election petition cases did we have?
Oh, there was a lot of them.
It was a lot, right?
There was a lot of them.
And people are still expressing their reservations that, the process wasn't free, it wasn't fair, it wasn't credible, and what have you, despite that huge amount of monies that, we spent to conduct the elections. And if really we must spend so much to conduct free and fair, credible elections, and at the end of the day, people are still going to court. Because after all, if you're not satisfied with the outcome, you seek legal redress. You go to court. Then it goes to tell you that something is wrong. And if we're going to liken this to corruption in the system, then do we really need this, huge amount of monies to deal or fight with fight corruption? Like you rightly said, corruption is not a human being.
It's not a human being.
So why do we need to spend so much to fight corruption?
All right.
And now let's do a little bit of comparative analysis. Now, comparing Nigeria to other countries, according to Election Network, an international election observer group, and it's really heartbreaking that we couldn't secure, a guest or two to be on the show. We actually made efforts to reach out to someone, from Yaga Africa. And we know Yaga Africa is such a reputable organization in terms of, observing the conduct of elections, not just in Nigeria, but somewhat, Africa.
Nigeria, of course.
No, now, according to Election Network, an international election observer group, the most expensive in Africa and one of the most expensive in the globe is the conduct of Nigeria, elections in Nigeria. So Pakistan, that has an estimated population of 253 million compared to Nigeria's 238 million. We're not really sure of the figures, but we are over 200 million, in numbers. Now, if you look at how much Pakistan actually spent in 2024 to conduct, elections, it was around $164.5 million.
Okay.
And that was 1 year after Nigeria conducted her own, general election in 2023. And in reality, ours actually gulped $815.465 million. So if Pakistan, with a population of 253 million compared to, it's as though we are following each other closely. It's either Pakistan is following us or we are following Pakistan in terms of population, growth. So if Pakistan can actually spend $164.5 million to conduct general elections, why are we spending more? Is it that we have, too many people to deal with? Is it that the voting materials, the ballot, papers and what have you, they are more expensive to procure in this part of the world, and that's why we have to spend more money? Then you take a look at the beavers, for example, UD. That was one justification for why we had to spend so much, to conduct the 2023 elections. But what did we see? Oh, there were technicalities.
Exactly.
And I know technology has a mind of its own. It is actually bound to break down at any point in time. even we humans will break down too.
That's my point exactly, Omo. The technicalities.
Right.
You see, these languages are languages that humans, you and I, had formed. If, in fact, what are you talking about? Technicalities during elections, it shouldn't be strange to you. If with the Supreme Court we had technicalities too in interpreting the law, it's a human thing. It's not the term in itself. I mean, as we discuss matters that concern high cost of elections in Nigeria, it's very, very poignant, essential to consider that there are complexities and challenges. Pakistan has its complexities. Nigeria has its complexities. All of these are involved in conducting free, fair, and credible elections. Now, the Independent National Electoral Commission has a monumental task of ensuring that elections are conducted in a manner that reflects the minds and the will of the people. The 981.5 billion naira spent on seven general elections since 1999 may seem excessive, but it's crucial to understand the scope and scale of the electoral process. Conducting elections in a country with over 200 million people spread across 774 local government areas requires significant resources on Wefe, and that is a fact. Then of the 200 million people that we are, so to speak, estimated, how many people come out for the elections?
Udwak, how many registered voters did we have in the 2023 general election?
So why are voters?
About 96.469 million, voters were registered for the 2023 elections, right? Now let's do another, comparison here. In India, right? India, that has a population of 1.46 billion, registered 960 million voters. Yet the monies spent to conduct elections in India, is not even as high as what we actually spent in the 2023 general elections. So how do you now justify 355 point something billion naira to conduct the 2023 general elections, and you think that we're actually making progress because of our numbers, because of our population growth?
There are too many people to settle.
Who are these people? What do you mean by there are too many people to settle?
That's the question, because when you say 300 and something and you're calling the numbers and all of that, I think there should be more monies to be pumped in there. More monies. The reason...
No, when you say there are people to be settled,
because
it actually speaks volumes. It's not even clear.
Because...
who are those that should be settled?
When you say... When you put me on the spot like that, but let's go straight to it. Let's go straight to it. Now, if you... We'll hinge it back on corruption, but I'm coming back. I'll come back to the corruption thingy and tell you why I keep saying corruption is not a human being. When they say that we are going to buy these social materials, it's just like when we are talking about road infrastructure.
Or it was due to the exchange rate? Is that what you're going to
No, beyond the exchange rate. Yeah, I feel that many people scuffle for these monies in times like this as they present themselves so that they can also have excesses. Okay, take for example, this phone is 5,000, for example. And then I tell you that this phone is 105. That's what's been going on. It's fact. No, it's fact. It's factual. I tell you it's 105,000 there. But it's 5,000. So who's supposed to check to see that this phone is exactly 5,000 and not 105? Now the person who is saddled with that responsibility when he goes on his oversight, I'm not mentioning names, just saying oversight, that person is cajoled into receiving 10,000 there, even monies that is higher than the phone in itself, the project in itself, and the person shuts up. And then another person will want to raise a storm, and they give that one 20,000 there, and that's how it's been. So he will settle with his own people. Everybody keeps quiet. And who are these people? They are not from heaven. They are not from Togo. They are not from Ghana, not the US, not the UK. They are Nigerians. They are still us.
I agree, Yudi. We have this do or die attitude when it comes to elections in Nigeria.
Do you know that there's some people who are not relevant until election is close? they become relevant. They are like activated. You don't know? There are people who are just lying in waste or in wait when it's election period, whether it's local government and all of that. In fact, there are different classes of them.
Okay, so this breakdown you just gave from UD.
Yes.
There's a saying: should we continue in sin that grace may abound?
No, we shouldn't. But then again, somebody said that if you, it may not be totally true, but I've heard if you want peace, prepare for war. Right? I've seen that. I've read it. It's in a book. Now, beyond that, somebody said, there's a reason they call it fire for fire. Right? Now, this is not me I'm not instigating you to do nothing. I'm just saying the only instigation that I'm giving you right now is to go and get your PVC.
Right.
That is the most important thing. So that recently, just on the front page this morning, we saw where Muhammadu Sanusi II, the emir
of Kano,
has said that we have had very unserious leadership. He made a joke, a mockery of our leadership for the past years, he says. We have had a mockery of it. So if we cannot get the leadership rightly, how do you want all of these to stop? How do we want to make things right?
I really don't think it's a leadership.
Oh, it's not a leadership
problem.
thing.
No, it's not it's not a leadership
It's a
problem. I think we need to, because who are the people who are leading us? It is still Nigerians from amongst us, people who actually vote into office. We feel or we think or we are convinced that this person is actually capable. This person has integrity and all of that, and then we vote for them. All right. So it's not really a case. It's not a problem of leadership, or the leadership is faulty and all. How about the masses that are being led? This do or die attitude we're talking about is not just typical of the leaders.
Can I ask you a question?
The masses as well. I mean, who is actually campaigning for a political party, because whether you like it or not, almost everyone belongs to one political party or the other.
Good.
And you think it's a do or die affair. Your party must win, just like a football club. When you belong to this club, you think yours is superior, to the other.
Yeah.
So that's like what is obtainable within the electoral space. And our attitude as Nigerians, it says a lot. So when the leaders or when the elite or the political class now see how desperate, how passionate we are to champion the cause of the political parties that we represent, or wherever it is that we're campaigning for, the only thing they need to facilitate it, to even enable it further, is money.
Finance, yeah?
Yes, it's money. Now, on the flip side, you said something earlier that really, really caught my attention.
Right.
Whose responsibility is it to ensure transparency and proper monitoring of how monies are actually spent when it comes to the conduct of elections in Nigeria? In the United States, for example, the truth is the monies that have actually been spent, to conduct elections over the years, it has also skyrocketed. So it's not just in Nigeria.
So it's not a Nigeria thing.
Yes, like I did say from the beginning that the only thing constant in life is change.
Exactly.
But in the United States of America, there's always this very, very transparent approach to how monies are spent.
That's what we lack.
So whose fault is it?
Whose fault is it? If I say the leadership, you say no. You say no.
It's not the leadership.
They're still Nigerians.
Should we fault the electoral umpire?
As to how monies are spent?
Yes, should we fault the civil society organizations that we have? Because I know lately there's been this clamor, there's been this advocacy for, more and realistic electoral reforms. And among some of these reforms that people are pushing for, one, that all elections be conducted in one day. If all elections are conducted in one day, then we would save cost.
That it will be cumbersome.
If we put an end to off-cycle or off-season elections, we would also save costs.
Right.
And the way by-elections are conducted, it also needs to be reviewed. I recall very clearly, I think it should be last month or two. No, I think it should be last month. I had a conversation with the Labour Party candidate for the just concluded Edo State by-elections. He didn't even run for that seat anymore because of the party, the crisis rocking the Labour Party. And this is someone who had spent a lot of money to campaign, to commission projects, because of course people want to see what you've been able to, to do.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, all of that went down the drain. You couldn't run for that election. And however, he is actually, suggesting that a situation where someone contests, the senatorial seat, during the general elections, and by the grace of God, you won that election, right? Few months later, you see another position that is vacant, let's say governorship elections, right? Or the governorship seat is to be, filled, or the tenure has actually expired and they need another governor. And then you feel like you are capable, or your party decides to give you the ticket after you run for, senatorial seat and you won. That is waste of money. It's more like you are indecisive. If your gaze is on the governorship seat, stick to it and forget about the senatorial seat.
But somebody will tell you that there is freedom of association, freedom of choice.
I know, you did, but I didn't look at it now. In the long run, we are spending more money.
So what does the law say?
It's a different case entirely when someone dies, right? But in this case, I'm using Edo State as a case study right now because the present governor, Governor Monday Okpebolo, actually won the senatorial elections, in 2023.
Right.
And the Labour Party candidate, Dr. Omofoma Osereme, according to him, his party actually came second. So for him, in a situation like that, since Governor Monday Okpebolo is now the governor, thereby leaving the senatorial seat vacant, the party that came second should automatically fill that seat. So there should be no need for, a rerun.
Yeah, rerun.
But no, that part of the constitution has not been abrogated. It has not been adjusted. It has not been reviewed. So we still have to, have a rerun. And you don't have a rerun for free. You still have to spend money. And should someone die in office, what happens to the party bringing the person who came second during the party primary, or the party that came second, filling up the vacant seat, as opposed to us spending another money again to fill up that seat? So there are different dimensions to these exorbitant, expenditures when it comes to running elections in Nigeria.
I get that.
I'm not trying to say that these things don't happen in other climes. They do, but the process is transparent. The breakdown is always there. Sometimes these details are usually, published publicly for the masses, for the citizens to see. Here in Nigeria, where there is there's a gap, there's a disconnect. There's a trust deficit
between the people.
Exactly. So why can't we just try to make amends and see how we can adjust that? And if it's beginning to look as though the more money we spend, the more election petitions that we actually, get to deal with, don't you think it's about time we look inward and review the process?
Well, it might be about time to review the, look inward and review the process and all of that. But you must also note that electioneering process is not just about the INEC in itself alone. I mean, there's multiple stakeholders in the process. The stakeholders could include the political parties, the electorates, the civil society organizations. I mean, everybody, candidates themselves. Very important. I mean, you see the lavish monies you spend here and there. Now, there are some arguments that says that, look, if the electoral umpires, employees or officials are taken care of, or well taken care of, or beyond taken care of, right? Looked their needs, certain other needs, are met. Now, this might be very excessive, but yes, it could also be very instructive. That there will be nobody wanting to accept a bribe for whatever purpose or reason. To change numbers, to change names, to delete, to impute, and all of that. Now, this is not me also saying that it's very good and nice that we should keep increasing the monies for election. But maybe if we had increased it to a point that nobody will have any reason to say it was because of greed. Or no, it was because I was not being taken care of. It was because we didn't have transport fare. I mean, we've seen officials a situation where INEC officials with beavers will go off and everything, and they will call on the citizenry to bring a generator. No, we've seen all of that now. Have you not seen that? Have you not seen that? No, I'm trying to ask. I'm trying to know. Have you not seen that?
Not
so
sure.
If you've not seen that. Wow. Okay. Well, I'm telling you that I've seen that. Where the citizenry are the ones who are now getting a gen to power.
Woodwork.
No, I'm just telling you. So in such
Yes.
cases now, you see that it's already messed up. It's already messed up. It's either the monies have been allocated, but there's somebody who's sitting on it and not allowing the money get to the officials who are in the field conducting the process in itself. So there is a complexity in all of these. We can't turn a blind eye to it. But let's just hear from one or two or three callers, and then we know your thoughts on this, right? The number would be 0907, right? 353-0044. That is the number. What do you think about the monies that we've been spending for the past 24 years since we got, is it democracy now?
Yes, democracy.
1999 up until 2025. Where are we on this?
Hello, good morning.
Good morning to you, Honorable.
Honorable Edward, good morning.
Yes, yeah. Thank you, Uncle.
Yeah.
Yeah, this morning, I next off. The truth of the matter is that it has no justification. Because, honestly, I'm not expected to be part of this discussion, but it just trigger me.
Okay.
Because I know that contested, it is a vehicle that they convey the any materials to.
Yeah.
To not to pulling unit, to council work. We contributed money for it.
Okay.
Not to talk with generators. Okay, like now, registration is ongoing. Voter registration. There is money for that.
Okay.
But if you get to my own village, and even your village, to get there, you be the one. Just to say, if you want to do, look for a gen, hire a gen, or find any means, or even transport them. So why are they using that money? This is not something of, it's not hypothesis, it's not hearsay. Practically, I have done that. So the allocation is of no use. They know what they do with the money. I'm saying that with us here.
Right.
Wow.
But they're not making use of that money. If they are making use of the money, what, where, and how? We need food because we feed them, we transport them, we did everything. So what are they even budgeting that money for?
Right.
Well, you know what they use that money. Those are the things that are making us to. And at the end of everything, they will see give it to a wrong person, not do what the voter, what the candidate that we voted for.
Right.
So because we don't have another this thing. Of course, the better can set INEC. I think the nation INEC is better than set INEC, even though the money given to them, nobody knows where that money goes. Right. I wish I would be part of it, so I'll get my share. Thank you.
Honorable Edward, thank you so much for calling. But
So
I was actually taken aback for a minute when those were very strong claims.
Now he said he has done it. So you get it, that the picture on ground is different from what you're probably
Let's take this call.
being told sometimes.
Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning to you,
Good
Felix.
morning.
Good morning, the king.
Yeah, Felix, welcome aboard.
Felix from Lambata.
All right.
You see, the picture you guys are painting is in a poor situation. In a situation where people want their people's welfare, they have come to serve. That is where they do things to save costs. You understand me? Like almost I said, what is the point when somebody, for one reason or the other, abrogates a position that he was elected? The second person is supposed to take over. If we are thinking about saving costs, that's what's supposed to be done. That we are embarking on a new period of spending and incurring expenses. And yet we are crying we don't have money. The truth is that Nigeria is a very rich country. And what Barrister Daniel said is also true. Generators are borrowed during the election. I have actively participated in almost all the elections. So I know what goes on there. Sometimes you wonder how these billions that is sometimes are budgeted for election under INEC is spent. Because at the end of the day, the Muslim provides most of these things at the point of either the candidate is the one providing generator, or the candidate is the one providing canopy or space for the election.
Right.
So if our leaders are having good intention of development, taking care of the welfare of the people, protecting lives and property, they will save costs and they will use the money judiciously that the citizens will applaud them for it. But here is a place where people just come, get their own, like Honorable Edward has said, that he would also want to get his own. It's unfortunate.
It's unfortunate.
When we think about ours and not about the country.
Right.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it.
Thank you very much, Felix.
Now you heard Felix loudly and clearly.
I don't know. I do not pray to witness a situation where I would see a fellow Nigerian, bring his or her generator to salvage a situation.
Look, have we been patriotic as Nigerians? We have, Amo. I can tell you that for sure. But what I'm advocating for is give INEC the type of money that INEC will not be able to eat, and let the gains of democracy go down. Do you know that there's a type of money you give to somebody? He says, I want 1 trillion naira.
So you think INEC...
And you give... No, it's just me saying, I want 1 trillion naira. And you give them 3. And say, you know what, with this, I don't want to hear. I don't even want to hear anything.
Okay.
Well.
Hello, good morning.
Yeah, morning. I'm calling again, please.
Welcome back, Honorable Edward. Yes.
Yes. There was something that happened in my own polling unit. I was there. The day was having problem, and I had to use my power bank. I let them my power bank because I want my result to be voted. I want them to vote. So it's just for me. You can. I make up, purchase some gadgets that they can be used anywhere where there's no electricity. Where we have the electricity. Because if my power bank was put to serve throughout the period, that means that they can also procure them, get them only during the election time. So they know what they're doing with that money, and they are doing it
Honorable, let me quickly ask you a quick question. Whose table does it end? Who should we blame? Is it the INEC now, or is it the leadership that we should blame?
In this, if we're blaming the leadership, they will tell you that money has been released to INEC.
Okay. So it's INEC. Okay.
INEC, they cannot be held responsible. I think my problem is that leadership. Which part of it we have national assembly, we have executive. So which of the leadership are you referring to?
We're talking about
because national assembly, they have power.
Yes.
They have power to supervise INEC.
That's where I'm coming from. The leadership.
So, that is they are aware. They are also part of this process, and they knew what is happening.
Okay. All right, Honorable.
So they should be blamed too.
All right.
Okay.
They should be blamed. And their budget is funny, so they should be blamed.
Okay.
All right, Honorable. Well, thank you so much.
Right.
I think we just put a pause to the phone calls and quickly go pay some bills.
Okay.
Then come back to wrap up the conversation.
To wrap up it out. Okay, awesome. We'll be right back in a short bit. We'll still see your calls coming through. Don't go away.